Okay, so what is systematic fire protection work? Well, systematic fire protection work, SBA for short, is used to prevent fire, provide safety for rescue services, and lessen the casualties in case of a fire. It is needed in connection with, amongst other things, rebuilding, response planning, fire inspection, object orientation, and of course, during a rescue operation. And the requirement for fire protection documentation is an invaluable document in fire protection work itself. In short, SBA is all about improving fire safety in different environments by providing organizations and companies with fire safety knowledge but also equipment. SBA is written in law and therefore applies to all organizations and companies, regardless of size and operation. However, the requirements may differ according to the business's own needs and conditions. This itself is categorized by BR. The fire technical building class ranged from 0 to 3, 0 being the highest need for fire safety, and VK, the occupational building class, ranged from 1 to 6, 6 being the highest in need of fire safety. These categories are decided by, for example, the number of floors, the size and operation of the building, if people are expected to be awake in the building, and if they have good knowledge of the building's layout, but also if there's a heightened risk of fire due to the operation. However, a building can only have one fire technical building classification, BR, but several occupation classifications, VK. Today we will focus on BR1 and VK1 to 2 of Räddningsgymnasiet Sandö, in which we will be doing a fire inspection and later an evacuation drill. For your understanding of the whole picture, BR1 is buildings with a high need for fire safety, usually buildings with 3 or more floors. VK1 is usually industries, warehouses, or offices. In short, places where people are expected to be awake and aware, have good knowledge of the building's layout, and are able to put themselves in safety. VK2 is similar to VK1, except people can't be expected to have good knowledge of the building's layout. These are usually spaces like meeting rooms, healthcare facilities, dentists' offices, so on and so forth. Now, on these overhead maps, I have marked out the fire cells in the school, the yellow ones being fire cells that continue upstairs or downstairs. A fire cell is a room that should be able to withstand fire, and in this case, with the building being a BR1, the cells should be able to withstand fire for a minimum of 60 minutes. Okay, so here we have the correct function of a fire door, where when you latch the magnet on, it stays. That is correct, that's what it's supposed to do, unless if there is a automatic or manual fire alarm active. And when you press this button, the door shutter button, the door is supposed to close fine without problem, and the hinges are supposed to be in. Unlike this door, where I had to pull quite hard in order to get the door to close. That's because it's stuck on something on the ground, the floor is uneven, something like that. It latches onto the magnet, that's good, it holds. But when I press the manual door shutter, it releases but doesn't close, once again because it's stuck on the floor. Now this door, the door shutter button works fine, works great, but the door hinges are uneven. It doesn't close, doesn't latch. Here you can see an overhead view of the school's floors, showing the top, middle, and bottom floor. These arrows that you see all point to deficiencies in the school's fire safety. The white arrows show deficiencies that have existed since before, and the yellow arrows are new deficiencies we found during our fire inspection. I'm not going to talk in depth about it, as I will show you some of the deficiencies in the next clip. I am now standing on the bottom floor of the school, and already you see an unchecked indoor fire post. Now, these are supposed to be controlled and evaluated at least once every year to see that the hose and mouthpiece are still working correctly. This one has not been checked since 2021, and that's 3 whole years of potential buildup in the hose. These stickers seen here on the inside of the fire door show the classification of the door, this one being an EI30, meaning the door frame must be an R60. When I use the manual door release button, it releases perfectly as it should, and it hinges completely. This door, let's see if it has a sticker. It does have a sticker. And it releases perfectly fine. Here you see an indicative warning sign on the elevator warning us not to use in case of fire, which is great. And here is another sign showing us an evacuation route as well as these glow-in-the-dark stickers on the stairs. It's very important, in case there's thick smoke or the lights aren't working correctly, that these stickers exist. Another one here. And then now we're going to head to the left. We see a fire door. This is the one I used as an example of incorrect function earlier, so I'm not going to get into deep with that. See two very clear emergency exits. The one further ahead, a great example of a well-placed clear signage, and here we have indoor smoke detectors, automatic fire alarms, and once again an unchecked indoor fire post. Here is one of the main emergency exits on the middle floor. However, this one does not have clear signage, which is another deficiency. Even though you may think it's very clear to the eye and easy to spot, all emergency exits must be marked. Again, we have another incorrect functioning fire door, also using the example earlier. This one is missing its classification sticker. And all throughout this hallway that I'm walking in, we can see smoke detectors and automatic fire alarms, all very nicely evenly placed out on the ceiling. Once again, this placing and signage of the indicative marking is a great example of clear placement. We clearly see the handheld fire extinguisher as well as the exit sign on top. Disappointingly, this fire extinguisher has not gotten its yearly control for 2 years, making it a shortage in fire safety. And when I try to open this fire door, the lock opener button does not work. Luckily, the turn set does, and I get the door open. As you can see, the fire door does not hinge when it closes, making this fire door a shortage. It does, however, have a good seal at the bottom, preventing smoke or any hot gases from coming through. When we continue forward, there are marked steps and another invalid fire post. Has not been checked since 2021, makes 3 years just like the other ones, and a little ahead there's another fire door with an indicative evacuation sign, but with hinges that do not close, and a remarkable gap at the bottom of the door, making this fire cell invalid. Now, we come out to the stairwell. It's very dark, but luckily this is a good demonstration of the glow-in-the-dark markings on the stair to help guide us and fire personnel out. There's another evacuation sign, and finally the well-marked escape door. Here we have another well-used overhead map of the shortages of the top floor, but I will not show you the same way as I did with the others by doing this walkthrough. I will more show you the actual fire drill that we did, and then you'll see what worked and what didn't. Here you see us walking into the school, dragging the hose behind us and setting the door open with a flower pot, which is a good method to hold the door open. And as you can see, the inner fire door right next to me right now is stuck on the mat, which is a shortage, of course. Now you see, because of clutter, the hose got stuck, which is a great example of why clutter is such a dangerous thing during fire escapes, and in this case, luckily only a fire drill, but who knows what could have happened. Anyway, I go to remove the stool, and I point to the, as before, very much shown fire door that didn't work. Anyway, now we come up to actually the working fire door I used in the example, where I sort of tried to push the door open, but of course During actual fire drills, the magnets do not latch, so that's correct behavior of the door. And here you see the fire door doing a great work. You see it's totally smoke clear in there, and we're just checking to see that you can actually see the fire exits 4 meters into the room. So, like I mentioned, the door's doing its work, and well, yeah, thank you for listening. That's all.